everyone. It seems like our banner doesn't really come down when we're all ready to go. So hey, Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing spectacular, man. You know, it's one of those days where it's Thursday. We've got a long weekend coming up, and personally, you know that intro music, man. I know we always talk about it a lot, but I really don't need coffee, man. Like I woke up a little bit late this morning, and I was kind of feeling a little bit weary and dreary. And then once I heard those bongo beats going, I'm ready, man. I'm ready for today's episode. What's going on in your world, my brother?
Oh, buddy, I like my coffee. I got my cup that's just as big as my head still. I'm back on my cappuccinos, which I love because I don't have any cream in my coffee anymore. Buddy, rocking and rolling, man. We got some amazing things coming up in the next 2 weeks that are just like some amazing things coming up, man. It's gonna be great.
And that's what I'm really looking forward to, Dan. I think like what's happening in the next couple of weeks, and we'll talk about it today because you and I have kind of decided to like really upgrade our lives and challenge ourselves to do things that we haven't done before. So today's personal
and we're actually looking forward to bringing the audience along. You know, like we have, for everyone watching and listening, you're going to notice a lot of changes on Sales Chatter for the good. But also we're going to bring you along on this journey, in a journey to create a $500 million company, actually. And I think that journey is going to be pretty cool for everyone, you know, because we're going to bring you into the insights, the wins, the losses, like how did that happen? I thought that was going to be a done deal and it wasn't. And, you know, what our days look like when we're trying to build these companies, trying to manage our daily transportation lives, trying to manage family life. Like Ryan, you know, Rico yesterday was talking about, you know, trucking being a lonely life. And you know what? Sometimes being an entrepreneur is a very lonely life as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, bringing people into this world, and I think and showing them the reality of how we grow our businesses, right? Like there's one thing to say, oh yeah, do this, and hey, do, you know, follow up between follow up and do that. And it's like, okay, but how do we see it in action? Yeah. And how do I really grow my business? How do I maintain that motivation, inspiration, the desire to keep going with days when I just feel like I'm dead? You know, we were talking just before the bongos hit, and it was, you know, I'm a little dragging it a little today. And you're like, so am I. And then it's like how do we maintain that energy throughout the day? So I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a spectacular journey for everyone.
It's going to be amazing, you know, everything that we're about to do and kind of be open with everybody and try different things. I think, Dan, a couple of weeks ago, I read something that was profound, and it was an unexpected place that I found it. It was just a random article that I found. And it said that, you know, there's that old cliche of like money doesn't buy happiness, but they follow it up by saying you can't buy anything. You know, so for me, I really thought about that. Not to say we live in poverty or anything like that. It's just that mindset of like not wanting to get there and just wanting to kind of go after it. So, you know, what is Sales Chatter Live? You know, this is our podcast where we aim to help 1 million sales reps hit 1 million GP and gross profit in under a year. And today's personal development day, where basically Dan and I, we reflect on the theme of the week and we bring to you 2 clips. We play the 2 clips and then we basically talk about our thoughts about it and how it can help you. And we look to engage with the audience as well. So Dano, are we ready to hit that intro video or are we ready to hit into our videos?
Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't uploaded the intro video yet, so we're ready to get into our videos.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna do yours or mine first.
Oh, sorry. Either one. Let's flip a coin and whatever we got.
Around you would like you to live small. Just do this. You're good at that, man. Take it easy. Chill. When's enough? Like, come on, brother. You know where we all these messages you get is basically saying, hey, man, live small. Yeah. Life's not a big deal. Live small. Enjoy it. Chill. Smoke a little weed. Do whatever you want. Right? Like it's just this get by thing in life. And there's got to be some people who go, No, you're supposed to do something great with your life. You were put here for a purpose. Your way, the way you were born, the way you were raised, your background, your experiences, your giftedness all prepared you in your way for right now. And you're supposed to do something great with your life. You weren't born here to be average and ordinary. And there's all this messaging that you're average and ordinary, and you're average and ordinary because you belong there, and it's probably someone else's fault you're average and ordinary too. And I'm like, no, it's your life. You're in control. It's no one else's fault, and you're supposed to do something magnificent.
Add my light, my man. Add my light. So two ways I want to go with this, because what we like to do is put these videos and connect them back to our theme and kind of give our own personal thoughts about it. So
Yeah.
let's start with the team client retention, which first and foremost, Joe Lynch on Tuesday, amazing. Yesterday, Rico and Dean. I adore both gentlemen. They're amazing, and it's great to show that. But it works with like our what this video he talks about, you know, being around the people who like inspiring you and want you to do that. So I think about that with my customers or even my suppliers or even the banner that I fly with, that, hey, am I happy with the things that they do, with the messages? Do they truly walk the walk with the message that they say? And Dan, one of the big things when it comes to client retention is understanding that, hey, if you're a fit, right? We have a great friend, a mutual friend you and I have, Drew, who's built a business with amazing customers of his, and he's into indie racing, and they play like Xbox like every Wednesday with his customers. You know, that's the type of relationship. I remember there's something you guys talked about yesterday about working with customers that you want to work with. And it's so important for that, because I remember dreading that time when a customer would call me. I think you both were talking about, you know, forgetting the emails, let it be a phone call, because if you only send bad news through email, they're only going to expect bad news every time you email them, right? And that really hit that hit a note with me, Dan. I want to kudos to all you guys from there. But, you know, coming back to Ed Milet's clip in terms of client retention, I truly believe, man, I really believe that we're meant to do something really great in this world. We're not here just to be ordinary. And that's all the influential factors, you know, the factors of like the things that we eat every day, the content that we consume, the people we talk to, the conversations that we overhear and we decide to participate in it or not. You know, like if you're walking your dog, you and I both have dogs, we're walking down the street and we see maybe one neighbor's place, their lawn is maybe unkept. Are we gonna give energy into that and be so negative about it, or are we just gonna continue with our walk and continue to move forward? And, you know, coming back to client retention, I think when you share what your beliefs and values are with your customer, they will do that with you as well. There's customers that I personally have, Dan, that we've gotten to a personal level, like it's crazy, that things that we kind of share together, because hey, I'm a newlywed and they've kind of like shared some stories with me, some tips and things that they've gone through. And I know you as well, like working with an amazing customer that, you know, he had cancer, you went through that together and then moved in companies and built that relationship. So that relationship is solid like a rock. And there was one thing I want to give kudos before I hand it over to you, Dan, was that client retention is so big to you, because I remember that time that I came over to your house and I met your lovely wife, Christine, and all three of us were talking and we said, we're going to go meet somebody. And your wife knew that customer by first name, you know, and I think that is so important, because a lot of us, we get buried into work and we just kind of leave work at work, you know, and it's understandable if it gets really stressful. But yeah, if you get to a point to have those conversations with your spouse, with your friends and stuff like that, tell them about your customers, tell them the names, tell them the cool stuff that you do, so that, you know, when you hear it from somebody else, you're like, wow, okay, maybe John is really a nice guy, you know, or like what energy am I projecting? So I'd love to get your thoughts, Dan, on the Ed Milet video and maybe anything that I kind of said.
Yeah, so he hit the nail on the head real hard. I believe also that all of us have a special gift. There's something in us that we have to bring to the world, and I believe that gift gets translated when we look at customers and who we really want as a customer. You know, I appreciate all your kind words, and you know, my customers are people I would like to hang out with outside of work, and I do. We go to dinner. My wife and I go to dinner. We hang out. We talk. They come over for a barbecue, and it's not. And Ryan, it's not okay. Let's do this so the customer won't leave me. I go back to it again. My customers are people I would want to hang out with. You know, you talked about Drew, and he does Xbox with his customers, F1 racing with his customers. Like, that's something he loves to do. He's not doing that. He's not sucking that up to keep customers. He's doing it because his business revolves around his life, not his life revolving around his business. And, you know, I talk about an old friend of mine that loves baseball. Every one of his customers loves baseball. He can go to any game anywhere in North America with a customer, and it's a mutual thing they love. You know, Joe and I both, unfortunately, have been through cancer, so we've got a bond that, you know, I was there his whole trip years ago, probably 7 years ago. his entire trip. I was there with him step by step by step by step. Guess what happened when I got it? Guess who was there step by step by step? And it's like customer retention. I mean, we should do a whole week on client profiling.
Yeah.
It's the starting point of all great achievement in this industry. It really, in any industry. Like if you go to any industry and say, okay, tell me who your customer avatar is. They have names for them, right? Like names for them. And I'll tell you. So when I first found this, my name for the male customer avatar was Ryan. I named my avatar after you because everything that I wanted in a customer was you. And it's funny, years later, we're partners.
Yeah.
Do you think that's coincidence?
No,
you know what I mean? Like it's not. It is literally the high performance logistics company. After that first meeting and after I met you and started talking to you, the avatar became Ryan. What do you think there's like, I mean, if you go back and you think of how many times I've texted you saying, okay, what keeps you up at night? What does this? What about 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 this? That's all to build the avatar of who I sell to. If I could sell my program to 1,000 Ryans, because I know you're going to use the material. I know you're going to better your life. I know you're going to see amazing things happen. And I know if I say 12 to 24 months, it's all it is. It's a dedication of 12 to, you're going to do it. And this is exactly what client retention is. You know, the nucleus of this week is don't just take in clients for freight. That's thinking of commissions.
Yeah.
Taking clients to serve a higher need. You take in clients that are like a mirror image of you that you would love to hang out with. And the commissions will come, and they'll come rapidly, but they'll come for decades, not months. And this is the big thing.
I think that is so important. Dan, actually, you've brought up something that I was thinking about during everything like that. So everybody who's watching, everybody knows that, hey, Dan and I, we are in logistics. So we're just like you guys. But, you know, Dan takes it one step further, and he's like a sales coach, and he has like high performance logistics sales, Inception, amazing programs. Dan, can you talk to the audience a little bit? Because there is a difference, right? What we do in logistics is a service. And what you do like with a training program is like, it's a software, it's a sale. Right? Because, hey, somebody comes to you, you qualify them, they buy, you put them into whatever program you think is going to fit with them. Does there have to be fits for students who come into your thing? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, you see, so here's the thing. I believe yes. Some people that sell online programs, I believe no. Right? And I know it because there's never a conversation beforehand. Not pretty much. Every student that's in Inception, I've had a conversation with. If I haven't had a conversation with them, I've had a conversation with their boss who's put them in, and then I've had a conversation with them. Every student in Inception has my personal cell phone number. Every student in Inception, I've either walked them through a phone call or been on a sales call with them. So there's a big difference, and it's not that... you know, not everyone is ready for Inception. And here's the thing, and I'll be totally transparent. Sometimes I'm wrong. Last week I had a gentleman. We had a conversation. He's like, yes, I'm looking for this. Like I said, okay, what's the goal? And I walk through all of this with them. What's the goal? What is your dedication level like? How much time in a day can you dedicate to education and training? And I walked through it all. And he checked all the boxes. And within half a week, he got back to me. He says, it's not for me. And I was like, really? I said, okay, if it's not for you. And I refunded his money right away, instantly. And it's like, okay, not for you. It's not for you. So it's like, I'm wrong sometimes. And I've been doing this a long time. And but you know, the beautiful thing about it is after he asked me that, I sat down for about 2 hours and I watched, because I record the conversations, right? We get on a Zoom and I record it. And I listened to the conversation, and there was red flags I didn't see. So I'm I'm like, okay, I'm going to add that into my next qualification. And this goes to client retention. This goes to qualifying clients. Like all of this, it's all in the same wheelhouse, if you will, right? Like qualifying clients is the beginning of the journey. Client retention is the end of the journey.
Yep.
That continues the journey, right? So if you think of getting a customer as climbing a hill, the client retention piece is everyone's leaning this way off the hill and you're holding them on the hill. And to me, that's the way I visualize client retention, because it takes so much effort to go uphill, very little effort to go downhill, right? So if you look at the analogy of it, your clients can go downhill and leave you very quickly, but they take so long to get into your camp. Like, especially today, they have to trust you, right? Like that is not built on one phone call. No, it's not built on 2 phone calls. It's not even built on 1 load. It's not even built on 2 loads. It's built on dozens of loads. It's built on time. And as a sales rep, if you're going in and saying, here, have a sip of this, hey, let's get married, like you're losing the game all the time. But if you go in and say, okay, well, who are you? What do you like? What do you dislike? What kind of movies do you like? And I know it's we're using very simpleton ideas and strategies, but I think it's the same thing. And your client retention, if you look at our conversation on Monday, Joe Lynch on Tuesday, Rico and Dean yesterday, it's amazing how high performers all have this common theme.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
When you get the right people on the bus, they stay on the damn bus, brother.
Yeah, it's a one-way ticket. There's no return, and I think
one-way ticket to paradise.
Here we go. See, we're going to Paradise Island here on Sales
Channel.
Yes, I love that. I was telling you we should get like a radio show every morning, the Dan and Ryan show. But
the DR.
The DR. I love all the points that you made, Dan, because like you talk about being a student, right? And anybody who's out there, like if they're trying out a new course or they're trying out something completely different as a service, think about the last time that you were actually qualified, right? Rather than, hey, I entered my information into a contact page and then here I am, I'm a member or whatever it is. And I think that funnel, it gets better and better. And I've learned that with myself, like even the funnels that you and I have conversations about, having them with the clients, because like I think as you kind of go through that, you become pro at qualifying. I hope so, at least. Like the more and more you do it, you figure out what works for you. And then I know for myself, and a lot of people can talk here, when I talk to a prospect, I probably know within like the first like 15 to like 30 seconds if they're going to work. But like you said too, Dan, about the student last week, that we could be wrong. Like I was completely wrong about one, and it's a great working relationship with me right now. But you always gotta kind of give those chances, just not one and done. And I think with client retention, for me, I always kind of want to figure out why would they want to keep me and work on that every single day. For me, it's like you're talking about, getting to that dating or getting married or stuff like that. It's just like, you're going to have to go through those introductory stages. What's your favorite color? When's the last time you cried? Like, who's important to you? What does family mean to you? And things like that. You got to find all those things. And let's call it spade a spade. The longer you get married, the longer you work with customers, obviously you might be telling the same stories. They might be telling you the same stories, but there's a sense of peace there. And I truly treat this as like a relationship, and everyone talks about relationship. But for me, I'm not a person, and I'll never be the guy. I'll put my hand up and say this, Dan. I'll never be the guy with over like 20 clients. Even 20 for me is a lot. So maybe it's more than enough. And it's just like, think about that, right? Trying to manage like 20 relationships. Not that you're going to deal with it every single day, right? Because things are going to happen in logistics, but to understand that, hey, I've got like 5 to 10 like really good customers that I can pick up the phone and understand too. Do not live in a mask or like a mirage that we have such a great relationship with customers, but it's not the same way. The opposite. Look for red flags yourself, because even sometimes, like Dan, let's call a spade. Sometimes we'll do the show and we're like, oh my god, we had so many cool things that we said, and then we replay it and we're like, oh, okay, maybe like 1 or 2 things, and that's what life is, because we kind of get that heightened sense. So understand, look for the signs. Like what my favorite customers with client retention is, hey, if I email them or call them, they're going to pick up, or they're going to get back to me in a certain time frame. Or if we have an issue, they're going to be, okay, hit up this person, carbon copy somebody. And I think, it has to work both ways. And that's what we always talk about. A relationship, it can't be one, it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street in whatever thing you want to do in life.
You know, I agree with all of that completely. You know, there's the longer you're, and I'll just use marriage as an example, the longer you're married, the more you have to work on being present.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can possibly take the ones you love the most for granted.
Yep.
And it's an ongoing effort. And I don't want to make this sound like it's super easy. Like retaining clients is one of the hardest things you can do.
Yep.
Right? Because you cannot take them for granted. You have to be present in every given moment. You know, it's so important. And what we do, and I say we because I'm sure every sales rep has done it, is we get to the point where we have this fictitious thought in our head where the client can't live without us, or what I do, nobody else will be able to duplicate. And it's bullshit. And it's ego getting in the way. You're edging God out. Ego is getting in the way. And you're not operating under the agreement, and I'm talking mutually agreed agreement, whether it was said in words or not, that you're going to help me be the best I could be. And in turn, I'm going to help you be the best you can be.
Yeah.
And it's that reciprocal factor that matters. You know, I have my customers I've been dealing with for decades. And like you said, I'll call them up, they'll answer. If they don't answer, it'll be, hey, just on the phone, call you right back within 10, 15, sometimes half an hour, depending on how long the phone call is. But I get a call back.
Yes.
It's like, this is the problem. You know, it's like on the weekend, just this weekend, I had my customer call me and say, FYI, just got word from my Livingston rep. They just got hit again with a hack, switched to coal. Right? Because he's on it. He wants to make sure our drivers don't sit at the border, not because he doesn't want to pay, because he understands that if they do, that screws up their whole week. And it's Saturday morning. If they're at the Detroit border right now, they could be home Saturday afternoon and enjoy time with their family. That's the way he's not thinking about charges. He doesn't care about charges. He cares that the drivers get treated with respect, honor, and dignity that they deserve. Now, to me, as a very driver-focused individual, I'm like, this is perfect, right? Switch to coal. Immediately, paperwork gets switched. Drivers are there for 2 hours instead of 14 hours. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like these are things that we really need to like dive deep into when we're choosing our customers, and that's customer retention at the highest level. When they become advocates for your business, right? We talk about referrals. We talk about you're not getting a referral until they believe in you.
Yeah. Yep.
And in order for them to believe in you, you got to consistently understand where they're going and help them get there.
It's so true. So let's hop into your clip. I think, yeah, let's hop into your clip and let's see what's going on. Play right here.
The biggest poison in us is regret. It's poison. And I push so hard, and will through my vehicle, which isn't meditation, which isn't health and wellness, which isn't nonprofit. My vehicle's business. I can't help it. It's what I love. I love building businesses. I love competing with you. I want to beat you. I love that game. But through that vehicle, I will always push a lack of regret and awareness to how good it really is. You're more than welcome to tell me about how bad it is or why you can't because or what, but it's just not true. Because if anybody ever did it, then you can too. Stop making excuses. Stop complaining. Nobody's listening. They may pretend they're listening. The market doesn't care. What you need to do is make one person happy, you. Then you can make everybody else happy. You know why I like making people happy? Because I'm already happy. And so I implore you to take this last little rant and really look at your fucking face and understand, are you doing the things that are putting you in a position to succeed? Not just in a business world, but in life. Because it's super important, because boy, when you're happy in life, your fucking business can roll. And so I'm just trying to figure it out. And I've been trying to figure it out in front of you for the last 7-8 years, trying to figure out the unlocks. EQ, IQ, self-awareness, hustle. I don't know what they are. You know why? Because like I told my man, it's 330 different unlocks. And so I'll go to all of them. They're all tried and true. And one might hit you. Yeah, it was hard work because I'm actually lazy. I talk a good game, but I'm full of shit. Or it might be something else, but fuck, one. And so,
I'm back here.
you decided to sit? You're into this, right? It's good, right? This is some good shit. You're gonna remember this?
I did.
Good. One fucking life. One life, my friends, one time. And honestly, I'll leave you with this because a lot of you need it. How you make your money is more important than how much you make.
Pretty much summed up everything we just talked about.
And I loved it. I don't know if you caught this, but the first seconds when they're doing that B-roll of him driving, you see like it's the truck.
That's
It
what
says
got me,
transport.
the
Yeah,
transport.
transport. Right? It's like, of course.
It's what got me. It's, you know, and this brings us back to, again, like, I mean, and I know I don't want to sound like a broken record, Ryan, but it brings us back to qualifying, client retention. You have one life. You know, when I first learned about client retention and client profiling and understanding and developing a profile, I was miserable as hell. I hated this industry. I was like, everyone is out to cut each other's throats because I was just taking people that would give me freight. And I was doing well, Ryan. Like I was doing 7-10 grand a week at that point. And it was like, I mean, which is good for most people. And it's like, but I was so unhappy. I was on the phone all the time. I was stressed out to the max. And it's like, I have one life. Do I really want to live it like this?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to live your life having your phone ring and seeing that number and go, oh, I don't want to pick that up. Right? Like
on the second time.
Yeah. And it's like, it's, and I know we sit here and we have smiles on our face and people are probably watching going, it's harder than it looks. It is. But like Gary just said, it's all hard work. Like everything you do, if you want to get to that point in your life, I don't talk about my dad much, but my dad said something to me one time that has rung with me my whole life. He said, I'd rather wake up making $15 an hour at a job I love than wake up making $30 an hour at a job I hate.
Yeah.
And in logistics, we have the ability to create the career we love. We have that ability. We have the ability to say, do I want this customer or not? I don't care about, and you know, companies might hate me for this, but I don't give a shit about VPs of sales and sales managers forcing you to get numbers on the board. Like if that's the case, you're at the wrong company. You want the right numbers on the board. And, you know, you looked at it and this morning you even said, you know, Dan, like I'm part of living a good life is having that flag that you fly be incompatible with what you believe. You know what I mean? So like there's that. Not to go back, and I know we've agreed we're going to start talking present and forward. But I remember when we did the you know, if you woke up tomorrow and all you had was a cell phone and a laptop, what would you do to rebuild your business, right? Now you remember that. And Nicole Glenn said first thing she'd do is probably for about a week, she'd research the companies that matched the kind of salesperson she wanted to be. So there's profiling on that side. There's profiling on your customer side. There's profiling on your spouse side. Like it's just normal.
Well,
we
you
forget
think about
about
it, right? Let's go back to our amazing friend from last Friday, Rico Rikoski, right? It really comes down to choice. Everything in life really does come down to choice. Like you can choose to have a good day. You can choose to have a bad day. You can choose to have these things. And Dan, what you said really hit me. And like I said, we're talking about present going forward, but you know, our lives are way more important than to be working so hard just to have like 2 weeks vacation, you know, to kind of go away to all inclusive and let that be that, and then have the Christmas and things like that. We're meant to be extraordinary. And you know, I'll be full transparent here, and I know you're on the same wavelength as me, Dan. Like me, I'm I'm not qualified. Like when I go on, like sometimes I go on Indeed and I see different things and I just kind of see what the market is like, not just in logistics, but everything else. Like sometimes I'll type in like social media or content creator or something fun that I could see myself doing. And I'm like, man, and this is not bragging at all, but I'm like, in logistics, this would maybe take me like 2 months to make that. So we take that for granted, that how lucrative this industry can be. And what Gary Vee says with that quote is like, it's not about the amount that you make, it's how you make it. Right. So this is integrity. I was telling somebody last night at Toastmasters, we went to pub night and I was telling him what I did. And I was like, I love what we do because there's not a shipping manager out there who doesn't use a broker or doesn't use a 3PL or a carrier. This is a service that everybody needs. So what is that value add that you're going to bring to the table? Are you going to help them solve some challenges? Like I said on Monday, like being nice, picking up all the time and believing in relationships. That's just a bare minimum of getting in there. Like that should be mandatory. That should not be value adds. Those are expected as per se. But I love how Gary Vee kind of talks to, and by the way, man, his content team, man, I just love that, the B-roll, everything. I think because you and I are in it now and we're going through it, we're like, we can really appreciate amazing things like amazing camera work and how they did that and things like that. But anyways, coming back to it, he's somebody who said he's put his story for the last 7 to 8 years and he didn't have the keys. And I want that to everybody to kind of reflect on that a little bit, and you as well, Dan, that, like, you don't have to have this all figured out. Like, just make the commitment today that no more shitty customers, no more chasing customers of, hey, if you match this by $50, I'll give it to you. That means they're telling that to somebody tomorrow, and you're just kind of twiddling your thumbs and things like that. Make the commitment today to grow and learn every single day, because he's put this out in the last 7 to 8 years. He wasn't perfect at the beginning. I'm pretty sure if we went to Mr. Beast, I don't know if you know who Mr. Beast is, Dan. He's one of the highest YouTubers ever, like, period. Anyways, he did his first video. He re-uploaded his first video ever a couple weeks ago, and just to kind of see the growth in that. So we all start from somewhere, and when it comes to client retention, even if it's just one client that you talk to, out of like the X that you have, and they stay on, that, okay, maybe I need to get like 9 more or whatever, but this is solid. And it's just like watering, like right now it's big into summer here. So watering your plants and your fruits and vegetables, the grass doesn't grow. Isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. Right. So I thought it was an amazing clip. Daniel? As I believe you might be having some technical difficulties here, but I just thought like it was just so spectacular, and it's crazy to kind of see about that. So Dan is he just texted me here. His power is going. His power just went out. So shout out to Aaron, for that. So we will wrap up here with this amazing episode. Tune in tomorrow. We're gonna have Fun Day Friday, where we have our game style show of just asking people amazing questions. So if you found value in this, please like, comment, share, subscribe with a friend, with a neighbor, with the Amazon driver who's bringing you your amazing packages that you ordered last night through Amazon Prime. And with that being said, make sure to check out our website, saleschatterlive.com, and our YouTube page, which is most important. We want everybody to kind of go over there, subscribe to our page, hit the bell notifications, just go on to YouTube, type in Sales Chatter Live, and then you'll see exclusive content, amazing details, and as we kind of say, we got some really cool things lined up for you guys. So with that being said, everybody be safe, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.